In this section of the chapter on sales, we want to talk about how we treat the title to stolen and lost property. And as you see, we say here, a thief has no title to goods. He or she has stolen. So if you've stolen the property, you don't have a legal right to it. You have no title. You have possession, and you may find someone that will be willing to buy it from you, but you don't have title. And what we say about stolen property is that the thief has no title to it and therefore has no right to transfer it. And the buyer steps into the same shoes that the seller is and the same rights that the seller has to the property. So if the property is in the possession of a thief, they can't transfer good title. They can transfer possession, but their title is not superior to anyone else's title. So an innocent purchaser, even somebody who knew that or didn't know that this was a stolen item, they would have to return it to the original owner because they didn't get any better title than their seller gave them. And although their seller had possession, their seller had no legal right to transfer title to anyone. So they might have paid good money for this item, but because they can get no better title than the person they purchased from, then they are out of luck and are going to have to give it back even if they're innocent. Now clearly if you bought a $125,000 Mercedes-Benz for $5,000 and was in great shape, there'd be a pretty good indication to you that you wouldn't be an innocent buyer because common sense would tell you, this is not normal that you'd be able to buy a brand new $125,000 automobile for $5,000. So, but it wouldn't matter because you would, even if you were innocent, even if it was a reasonable price, if it was coming from a thief, you can't get any better title than the person who has transferred it to you, which means you need to be very careful about making certain the person who's going to transfer title to you actually has good title. And a lot of the laws that have been developed regarding real estate recording and regarding recording of automobile titles and other very valuable products is because a buyer needs to be assured that they are dealing with the lawful owner before they will pay the money. So to encourage commerce, we want to make sure that we have some method to make it a buyer comfortable in entering into the transaction. Now, we further say that a person who finds an article has good title against everyone except the true owner. So if you find something that is lost, you have good title as opposed to everyone except the true owner. So let's say you have a horse that roams into your pasture and it's been there now for 6 months eating your pasture, eating your grain, drinking your water, requiring you to take care of it or to make reasonable efforts to take care of it. Even if you've tried to find the owner and can't find the owner's title as compared to your ownership right is better. The owner's title is better than yours, even though you've spent this time and effort. And so, if you sell that to somebody else and the true owner comes back, the innocent purchaser is out of luck because your title was defective as opposed to the true owner. Your title, if you found something, is superior to all other people except the true owner. Now, that poses the question is, how do we prove the ownership to personal property? In the case of horses, there may be a tattoo that's been put inside their mouth, inside the gums. In the case of an automobile, you have vehicle identification numbers. Many items of personal property have serial numbers. You want to have those numbers and models and serial numbers down because even though you may have lost something or it may have been stolen from you, either misplaced it or someone stole it, as to any other owner, if you can prove your ownership right is superior. Now, the chapter doesn't talk about this, but at some point, we would consider the concept that, okay, if the property was lost, at what point did you give up looking for it? And at what point was the property abandoned? If you lost or missed, or your car broke down and you left it alongside of the road and went to get a wrecker and didn't come back for a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months and now it's towed away, at what point have you gone from a person who has lost these goods to a person who has abandoned and given them up? Now, this would be critical because if they were found, what would be your evidence that you never stopped looking for them, that you didn't abandon them? These would be fact questions that we would have to deal with as far as ownership of lost or stolen or abandoned property.